I've got to say though, looking at City's results at the moment, and then what's happening today with Cancelo, you wonder. I think there's a bit tempestuous at City right now.
I think there's a few players that aren't happy with the way things are, and it's not
It
for the
seems that
first
way.
time that's been the case. Obviously, Raheem Sterling left last season with
Yeah,
similar doubts, didn't he? And there's been a few players who haven't really said exactly what's going on, but you can tell there's friction there. And Cancelo was one of the
and
best players last season.
yeah,
It's mad.
and Guardiola made a really weird comment the other day that I thought really went under the radar. I wonder if you heard it or you know what I'm talking about. But he was talking about Arteta and he was singing Arteta's praises, and rightfully so. And he talked about how successful he's going to be going forward. And he said something along the lines of, "I remember whenever we played Arsenal." Well, just generally, whenever we played, we'd score. Arteta was the first one jumping off the bench, very animated. When we
Yeah.
played Arsenal, he would never do that. That's because Arsenal's his club. So I was gutted to lose him. But when his club called him, Arsenal called him, he was always going to go. For me, Barcelona's my club. If they called me, I go immediately. So Arteta goes immediately to Arsenal. And I heard that and I went, whoa, hang on a minute. Did he just say what I think he said?
Is he calling out Barca there again?
I wonder whether he's starting to get to a point where he's like, might move on now because he seems to be trying a lot this year. All of a sudden, he brought a number nine in, who obviously is phenomenal, but that's not how he normally does things. He's kind of putting Walker and Cancelo on a bit of a back burner and trying some more things there. And it just kind of seems like he's having a bit of a laugh this season.
Hmm.
I don't know. I just something seems to be boiling at City, and I can't quite put my finger on whether I think it's going to end up being successful or they might have a bit of a capitulation at some point.
I do. I saw something online actually a few days ago, and I think there is a lot of frustration building in Pep. But it was mentioned, obviously I don't know whether this is true or not, but it was said that behind the scenes, Pep has mentioned how much more his efforts and his achievements at City would be appreciated if it was at United. So if he had gone to United and achieved what he has done with City, that it would have been much more appreciated with United than it would at City.
But it's always going to be the way,
'cause he
though,
would have
isn't
had
it?
a blank checkbook.
I was going to say, there's always like an asterisk next to City, no matter what they do. And when they eventually win the Champions League, no one will be like in awe at the achievement because it's kind of expected at some point. So I totally understand that. But he chose the path he chose. And, you know, he's at City and he's won a lot and he can't really turn his nose up at that. Whether he wants to go back to Barcelona or not, I don't think that's the right move for him at the moment. Barcelona are in a weird state as well.
Seems
But
weird.
you're right. City
Oh,
are in a strange position
probably.
right now, aren't they? And I think to be in City's position, win an FA Cup game against the nearest rivals, Arsenal, and still be talked about as if it's a weird season for them, and they're still in title contention as well, kind of shows you really how we're feeling about them, aren't we?